Welcome to the Cast Off. This is the #1 recasting show on the internet where two contestants compete by recasting your favorite actors in movies you love. I'm your host, Craig Price, and to celebrate the fact that I am in Utah, yes, I'm not actually here. This is pre-recorded for the first one of the few times. We're going to go back to Utah and see all of our old friends. So I'm calling this trip and tonight's game The Usual Suspects. And from everything I learned from movies, let's welcome our good buddy, Steve Kondrick, and from Cinescape, Austin Vashaw. Gentlemen.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Steve. How you guys doing?
Yeah, nice to meet you, Austin.
Yeah, Austin's been muting himself. He's concerned. So we've got the Mohawk. We've got the faux hawk. What do you got? You had to have like a Jimmy Johnson kind of haircut. So I'm trying to figure out who's the more stylish right now. But we're going to start.
It's a mohawk that's growing out a little bit. Yeah.
Well, are you going to get a big fin? Or are you going for a huge fin? Or are you just going for a small one?
That's my prototype fin.
So you're doing a Yondo it's been cut off situation. So sure, yeah. He says. Well, let's move on to Steve. Steve, everything I learned from movies. How are you doing? What's been going on with the podcast?
Going great. We're right now just starting off Snow White September and the year of the character that we've been doing the past couple of months, and going into Dractober next month. So,
is it Draxtober or Dractober like Dracula?
Like Dracula.
I don't know. It could have been Guardians of the Galaxy. It could have been a whole Dave Bautista month.
Ooh, coming soon. No.
And this is pre-recorded, so supposedly I'm in Utah as we speak. Hopefully everything's running smoothly with my absence. But are you looking forward to FanX? I know you're coming down for a day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we plan on going there, meeting all the celebrities, buying all the merch, seeing this incredible panel I'm hearing about concerning Chris Eccleston. Hopefully they get somebody good to moderate it.
Yeah, no, we'll see. I heard the moderator's a jerk. But someone who's not a jerk, that's a segue right there, is Austin Vashaw from Synapse. Austin, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great, thank you.
So what's been going on over at Synapse? I know that you guys are constantly doing some new things, but it's the middle of September. Festival season's getting ready to kick up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's already started for us. So we've got New York Asian Film Festival already complete and in the bag. So we've got a ton of reviews on that, as well as Fantasia International Film Festival in Canada. So both of those are already complete, but we've got a lot of new reviews out, pertaining to those two festivals.
Cool. Well, let's get on to the show. And as always, the rules are the same. We're going to show an actor in the character, and you're going to give me a replacement for that. We're going to recast them. The person with the best choice, decided by 3 judges, so if you don't like it, there was 2 other people involved, get 1 point. But I like to play along as well, and if you get my selection, that gives you a potential of 2 points, because sometimes my secret selection is the best choice, but let's be honest, it's always the best choice, but the other 2 judges don't always see it my way. Person with the most points wins, because this is America and we don't believe in ties. If there happens to be a tie, we're going to figure it out tonight. We're not going to just let you guys both go home winners, because that is stupid. Now, as always, this show is brought to you by Matinee Heroes, and September is our Matinee Heroes Patreon membership drive, highlighting some of the exclusive episodes that you get each month as a Patreon member. This week, it's Johnny Cash's Walk the Line. So you can head over to matineeheroes.com/subscribe and subscribe to the podcast. While you're there, you can also go to patreon.com/matineeheroes and join the Patreon. If you do $5, you get access to all of our back catalog. At $10, you get to name and pick a movie for us to review. We will do it. It's been done before, and it'll happen again someday. Also, while you're there, you can head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff and subscribe to the video feed through whatever video you like to watch us, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. I know we're on Facebook quite a lot. Also, you can hear the post-show exclusively on the audio version of Cast Off every Thursday in the Matinee Heroes feed. Well, let's get on to the great movie with a twist ending and problematic director, The Usual Suspects, which is a top-notch movie. We have flipped the coin. Steve, you are going first. So, Steve, who do you have? We're going to start off with, I cannot believe this. Stephen Baldwin gets top billing as Michael McManus, or as I call him, McManus. And for the least crazy Baldwin, he's fairly nutso in this movie. So who do you have playing the crazy McManus?
For Crazy McManus, I thought, excuse me, it had to be an actor who was able to pull off leading a movie like this, obviously being the biggest name, and those dreamy blue eyes. So I went with, of course, Paul Newman.
Wow, you went big first right out of the gate. There's no slowing down because Bill, you really can't go higher than Paul Newman.
That's right.
He's known for salad dressing and popcorn. Rest his soul for that, but thankfully his legacy has lived on. He's also in Road to Perdition, also Butch Cassidy Sundance Kid, The Color of Money, Sting. Such a great actor. That is a solid pick right out to lead this. And it's hard to think of Stephen Baldwin and Paul Newman as the same person, but you have.
And Paul Newman would be a great getaway driver too.
Yeah,
heist.
That's true. He doesn't have to do his own stunts, but yeah, Stephen Baldwin and Paul Newman, the same one. I don't know if I'm gonna sleep tonight. Austin, who do you have?
Well, I tried to think of a character actor who could pull off kind of the manic attitude and craziness that he has. I went with Walton Goggins.
Oh, Walton Goggins, he's great. The Appalachian ass kicker. If he was a wrestler, that's what I would call him. Obviously, he's the FBI agent Ant-Man and the Wasp. He's in Tomb Raider, but he's also in good movies like The Hateful Eight. He was great on Justified. And let's not forget, we all start somewhere. And I keep thinking he's fairly new, like he only started in his 30s, but he was in the next Karate Kid.
Really?
Yes.
As Hilary Swank was.
Yeah, he's just a kid. I think his name is Charlie or something like that. But yeah, that's crazy. Just when you think that everybody's overnight success, they've been working hard their entire lives.
I think that's the only one I haven't seen.
That's the one you haven't seen. I've only seen the first one. I think I saw the second one and I fell asleep during it. But we've got the great Paul Newman. We've got the great Walton Goggins. I went with Colin Farrell because I thought he had that same kind of gruffness, except he's better looking and smarter than the Baldwin. Our judges conferred.
He's more McManusy.
He is definitely more Mick in that one. Our judges decided Walton Goggins gets the point. So Austin kicks it off with 1. All right. Now we move on to Dean Keaton, played by Gabriel Byrne, who's this hardcore killer. Austin, who do you have as this hard blood, full of ice kind of guy? He's just awful.
This is me coming out of the gate. So I went with probably my favorite character actor of all time. But this is someone who, kind of I think could show the shades, which there's an internal struggle going on with this character, and so I went with Robert Forster.
Oh, nice pick, Robert Forster. Yes, the comeback kid. He was in all these great movies in the 60s and 70s, and then kind of got stuck in these awful movies in the 80s and 90s until Quentin Tarantino brought him in to read for Pulp Fiction, passed on him, but then remembered him and got him in the great Jackie Brown, because he was in movies like The Black Hole, The Delta Force, but then he was in Me and Myself and Irene and Lucky Number 11. So he's great. I loved him in Breaking Bad as well. That is going to be a tough one for you, Steve. Who do you have to go up against Robert Forster?
Well, I mean, for the role of Keaton, I wanted somebody who could be menacing, also a great actor, also be cast as the devil in a movie, and another Robert. So I went with Robert De Niro of Angel Heart fame. Absolutely,
yes. Known for his intense acting from The Godfather Part 2, Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, The Untouchables, Goodfellas. Yeah, he is an exceptional actor, and I could see him being this particular one. This is really
Taxi Driver era, definitely Robert De Niro is kind of what I had in mind.
Yeah, and you know what? This is why I have to stop doing movies from the early 90s, late 80s, and especially older actors, because I can't find any in color. A lot of that Paul Newman picture was the best one I could find that was in color. that fits the dimensions. So we have Robert Forster.
Hairstyle, Taxi Driver.
Well, yes, you do have. Yeah. I can see. I can't hear it really well, but I can see it. Robert Forster, Robert De Niro. We've got 2 Roberts. I went with Daniel Craig because I wanted to put my name in there somewhere. It's mostly just for self promotion. Our judges talked it over, and you got to go with Robert Forster in this one because this fits so well. Now Steve is starting to feel like the fix is in. I can tell. He's got that head shaking.
I'm just hoping to get on the board again.
Jeez. Well, next we have good old Mumblemouth, Benicio del Toro playing Fred Fenster. Steve, you showed this to your wife. Did your wife understand a word Benicio said, and did she ask what was going on?
No, I did show her the movie for the first time earlier today, and the first time she was like, wait, am I supposed to understand what he's saying? And I'm like, nah, not really.
No.
But, you'll be okay with
They
it.
don't even understand what he's saying. They even make a point in the movie to, like, what are you saying?
Yeah. Well, she also loves characters that you can't understand. She loves the Oceans movies, and so like the guys saying Chinese, and they're like, no, that'll never work or whatever. Like they completely understand that she loves that stuff. So, yeah. But for Fenster, I thought, who better to have in the role, dressing nice and flashy, and just looking good and mumbling. Robert Redford, of course, pairing with Paul Newman as well.
Man, now Robert Redford is like the ultimate movie star. I mean, look at that guy. That's Captain America right there. That is a handsome, good-looking man. I met him once. He's got a saddlebag for a face now, but that's a lot of time. And he's been dancing out in the sun too long. But he's there. Look at that. That is a good-looking man. That will make you switch sides. He was in Sneakers, Captain America, Winter Soldier. He's the natural. He is the natural. The Sting and Indecent Proposal. So Robert Redford, absolutely. So now we're going to move on to Austin. Austin, how do you compete with the hunka burning love that is Robert Redford?
So this is probably the one I'm the most proud of, but it's also the certainly the one I'm reaching for the most. But I wanted to, had that kind of mumble mouth sort of the speech pattern. And this is someone who's not primarily known for acting.
No, he's not known for acting at all.
No,
he's not primarily,
he's
secondarily, thirdarily. He's never acted.
Oh no, he has. He's played himself. He's played basketball players.
That's not acting.
And he's in some very very successful commercials. But this man's been accused of talking like Cookie Monster, and that is Mr. Dikembe Mutombo.
I love the pick.
I have had the fortunate pleasure of meeting Mr. Mutombo. I was in the Office Depot in Houston. That's why I have him in a Rockets jersey, because I was in Houston, living there when he was in Houston. And I was in line at the Office Depot, and as I waited, a shadow came over me. And I'm like, what the hell? And I turned around, and it's Dikembe Mutombo. And he is such a tall dude. A Hall of Fame center. Yes, he played a basketball player in Joanna Man, but mostly he plays himself, like in Coming to America, and that's it. He's an athlete. I kind of am a little offended that all you picked him is because he can't talk very well.
Oh no! Imagine him on the poster in the lineup, and he's a foot taller than everybody else.
Yeah, it would just be his belly button. Yes, I can see that. So
you're just looking at Mutombo's crotch. Is that what you're picturing the poster?
Everybody's nut level with Dikembe Mutombo. That's great. So we've got Robert Redford. A lot of Roberts in that list right there. De Niro, Forrester, Redford. Any other Roberts available? Downey Jr. might be popping up later on. Dikembe Mutombo. I went with Dev Patel. Not because he's a mumbler, but I also think Dev Patel would do that red shirt with the butterfly collar really well. And the judges decided to throw a pity point to Steve.
Yeah, pity point.
And it is 1-0. It's 2-1 Austin over Steve. Now we get to Todd Hockney, played by one of my favorite comedians, Kevin Pollak, a great impressionist, a great guy, a fellow podcaster. So I'm surprised Steve hasn't had him on the show yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. So who are we starting off with? We got Austin. Austin, who do you have playing the cocky Kevin Pollak?
Yeah, I went old school on this one for sure. But Kevin Pollak, he's a voice, right? He's a comedian. He has kind of that snappiness. And I picked someone who probably would never accept the role, but would be terrific in it. Usually we kind of see him in, sort of Boy Scouty roles, or at least that's the perception. He's also done some pretty heavy stuff. Anatomy of a Murder being a great example. I have Mr. James Stewart.
Yes, he doesn't want to call him Jimmy. He wants to call him James. I'll call him Jimmy for the people out there who may not know who James Stewart is. Sounds like a race car driver for Formula One. But yes, he's an all-American actor. It's a Wonderful Life, Harvey, Rear Window, Vertigo, exceptional actor. And yes, he can play. He can play bad. He's like Fred McMurray. Everyone thinks Fred McMurray is from My Three Sons, is this happy-go-lucky guy, but he can play a bastard. So Jimmy Stewart, nice.
Nice pick.
Steve, you're going up against an American legend. What are you going to do now?
Man, I don't know what to do at this point other than go with, again, somebody who probably wouldn't take the role unless they got top billing, but I got a big banner going right now with all the top billings. Every time I watch this movie, I feel Kevin Pollak is channeling one Al Pacino in this role, being, that kind of cocky New Yorker kind of guy.
Yep. He's known for his little friend. He was in Heat, Serpico, Dick Tracy, the Godfather movies, and coming up in October for Matinee Villains Month, Glengarry Glen Ross. All of those movies you've got the not the quadfecta, the Cinco de Mayo, whatever you want to call it. You've got the there's always someone who picks one that's got all of our shows on it, and every single one of those shows with Al Pacino we have done here on Matinee Heroes. So head to the archives. Now, is he going to be pre-Scent of a Woman or post-Scent of a Woman Al Pacino? Because they're vastly different.
Pre.
Okay.
I'm thinking like, oh my God, Dog Day Afternoon,
yes,
Al Pacino.
Right.
Yeah,
So this was only 2 or 3 years back when he was really acting.
Yeah. Totally.
When he's not talking like this all the time. She's got a great ass. He does that all the time. Wow.
No, Devil's Advocate Al Pacino. That's what I'm.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Oh, okay. So we've got James Stewart. We've got, I don't know if it's Alfredo.
It's Alfredo.
Yeah, Fredo. It's Al Pacino, and I went with Bob Odenkirk because I think Bob, especially after seeing Nobody, I think he'd be good in these kind of heist movies that he's kind of a little bit of a punk. Our judges conferred, and Al Pacino. And just like that, Steve has tied it up. All right. Well, now we move on to the breakout character and the Oscar winner for Verbal Kint, the scummy, both in the movie and apparently, and now we know in real life, Kevin Spacey. So we'll start with Steve, the comeback kid, it seems like. Who do you have playing Verbal Kint?
You had to jinx it, didn't you, Craig? No, of course. The only person that could fill this role would be a fellow Academy Award winning actor, someone who always keeps you guessing on what he's saying, what he's talking about. Nicolas Cage, of course.
Right.
Sir Nicolas Cage.
Known for being...
He's even got the same hairline, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's known for being in every of Steve's cast-offs. You have cast him in every single one of these. Somewhere.
I would cast him in Mean Girls if I could.
He could be one of the teachers. I just saw Pig. He was great in that. Not screaming and ranting, which was unusual, which is why he was so good in it. But of course, he's great when he is screaming and ranting, like in Face Off. Raising Arizona, Kick-Ass, Noir Spider-Man, and Into the Spider-Verse. One of the few times a very apt Nicolas Cage picked. I like this one. That's very good.
Thank you.
So
about time, right?
It is about time that you go to the Nicolas Cage well. It's going to pay off. He's such a good actor. He can do it. So Austin, who do you have going up against Sir Nicolas Cage?
Well, I'm going to preserve the surprise of the film for anyone who perhaps hasn't seen it. But this character, he is someone who is sort of quiet and portrayed as being very much out of his depth in this situation. And I have an actor in mind who I think is perfect for that. Every role that he's famous for, well, maybe not all of them, I haven't seen them all, but a lot of the roles I've seen him in, his demeanor is sort of this like baby-faced guy who's always, sort of impotent and not able to keep up with the big dogs. And that is Mr. Elijah Cook Jr.
Yes, so this is a classic character actor, Elijah Cook Jr. from The Maltese Falcon, which we did here at Matinee Heroes. But he was also in the original House on Haunted Hill and Rosemary's Baby and Salem's Lot. And then, of course, if you're my age, we saw him in Champ with little Ricky Schroeder. Was Ricky Schroeder, right? The Champ. Yeah. So
I will mention too
You
the
say
killing
so, Rick.
because that's the version of him that I really have in mind.
okay. And this shows you that's the only clear picture I could find of him that wasn't 200 by 200 square pixels because he has been long gone for several years now. He was an old man in the Champ, which came out in like 1978, 79. But yeah, great character actor. So we've got Nicolas Cage, Elijah Cook Jr. I went with James McAvoy, mostly from Split, because I like the fact that he can change so many characters. I thought he did a really good job. Some were over the top, some weren't over the top, and I think Nicolas Cage would probably do the same thing, which is why the judges decided to go with Nick Cage, and Steve has come back and taken the lead.
He's finally got me a point.
That's right. Nick Cage has
Nice.
finally gotten
Nice.
you a point. Well, now we move on to probably the biggest name in the movie at the time, and that is Chaz Palminteri as Agent Dave Kujan. I didn't rewatch the movie, so I don't get the pronunciation.
Kuyan or something.
Kujan. I thought it was a silent J, which he does. Silent J, very. I think that's Norwegian. He looks very, very, very Scandinavian. Chaz Palminteri does. So, Austin, who do you have playing the overly clever but not clever enough agent?
Well, this is kind of a passive character in the story. In that he's not in the main story; he's in the wraparound for the most part. I'll be honest; I didn't really try to think of someone. I tried to think of who Craig would cast on this one, and I went with Mark Ruffalo.
Well,
because he looks like him.
Well, just remember, there's two other judges. So, yes, it's good to try to see if you can get the extra point, but also help the two other judges out. But he is known as Banner 2.0 because he replaced Eddie Norton as the same character. Not Eric Bana. Eric Bana is a different multiverse.
Eric Bana,
Yeah.
Lou Ferrigno.
No, different multiverse. Different multiverse.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. He's in the Avengers movies, Zodiac, Collateral. Of course, the ladies love him in 13 going on 30 because they think he's such a sweetheart. But he can really act. He's a really good actor in Foxcatcher, and then that HBO movie that he did, or miniseries, where he was the two brothers, where one cut off its own hand. That was some crazy, crazy stuff. So now you've got an Avenger. Who are you going to go up with against the Incredible Hulk?
Oh man, well, I got a bunch of Academy Award-winning actors, and I figured I'd also go with another Avenger who can match the intensity and the smoothness of Agent Kujan. And of course, I got to go with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes, because he is the master of the mother. And in the Avengers movies, Kong Skull Island, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Goodfellas, and for the second time, you have also picked an actor who's all of these movies we have done. We have done all of these movies, so you can go to the archives once again, matineeheroes.com, and look up and listen to any of these because Sam Jackson has been in every movie that Michael Caine has not been. So we have Mark Ruffalo, Samuel L. Jackson. We've got Bruce Banner versus Nick Fury. I brought in the Falcon. This is crazy. So we went all Avengers. We decided to go Avengers on this last one. So we're starting to sync up. Our brains are starting to come together, which is going to be important because it is now a tie.
Oh
boy.
And we are going to go into the final one to see if it's going to be a tie or a tiebreaker. And then we finally get to the man who may or may not even exist, and that is Pete Postlethwaite, the great Peter Postlethwaite as Kobayashi. Now, we don't know if he actually exists. So, Steve, we saw his name at the bottom of the cup. Does he exist or not? Yes or no?
I don't believe so, no.
I don't believe so either, because that Kaiser Soze is a lying, as Samuel L. Jackson would say, mother.
Oh, I mean, spoilers?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this movie for some
Well,
reason,
that
go
doesn't-
watch it now. It's
well,
on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's only been almost 30 years, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to spoil a 30-year-old movie. Who do you have playing a very elegant, but yet somehow he able to culturally appropriate an accent, which was really problematic?
Okay, so which accent is it supposed to be? Because the name's Kobayashi, so you think Japanese. He's got a nice dark tan, so when me and Izzy were watching it, we're like, is he supposed to be like Indian? Because he has kind of a British accent to it as well.
I do not know. I know he is British. So we've got that. He's officially British, and he's been in Jurassic Park. I think Jurassic Park 2. He replaced the original game hunter for the second one. He is not that tan, and his accent at times is Japanese.
Yeah, it kind of goes in and out. That's why I was like trying to figure it out. But with all this in mind, I of course went with a British actor, Sir Alan Rickman.
I'm not sure he is an actual sir, but
Not yet.
well, he deserves to be exceptionally evil. He's in Die Hard, Galaxy Quest, all the Harry Potter movies. I think he's Sirius Black. I'm just saying that to piss off all the Harry Potter fans who just no, you're talking about that Snape. I love Snape. He's in Love Actually, and of course, twisting a mustache like nobody can do in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Love the extended cut of that movie. Not gonna lie.
I love the regular cut. Alan Rickman is fantastic in almost everything he's ever done. So
it's just extra 15 minutes of him though. That's basically.
I know, and he's got a lot. He improved a lot when he was the bad guy. That's right. Austin, you're gonna have a tough time with Alan Rickman, who is beloved by literally everyone in the world.
Okay, well, again, I'm going to try not to spoil where I don't need to. But the vision of the movie that we see is from the perspective of the detective, and it's his reimagining of the story that's told to him. And so I certainly see this as a Japanese character, and I wouldn't, as much as I love Peter Postlethwaite, that's not who I would think of if I was told that there was a character named Kobayashi who was pulling the strings. And so I did go with the Japanese actor, and that's Mr. Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, or Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, absolutely. He is
Great
awesome,
pick. Great
and
pick.
he just emanates intimidation and authority, and he's got gravitas. He's got everything you want from Kobayashi. He was in License to Kill, which, Steve, didn't we do that one for the show?
Sure did.
That's right. Big Trouble in Little China, which we did for the show. He was in Heat as a guard. Small credit, he's barely in it, but he's in Heat. But of course, as you said, he's in Mortal Kombat, and of course, Balls of Fury, which I believe is Steve's. If you could give an Oscar, Balls of Fury would be a Best Picture winner for you, wouldn't it?
At least a nominee. It was a tough year.
So we have Alan Rickman, Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa. I hope I said that name properly. I would hate to have butchered it, but he deserves a properly accented name. Now, here's the deal. If I get one of these names, there could be a tie. Because you're tied right now. That means, say, Alan Rickman gets because I love Alan Rickman. Steve would be 4-3. Then if he won, that's 5-3. If he didn't win, then it could be a tie. So it's really important we talk about my pick, and my pick was Riz Ahmed, which I thought would be great in this because, again, Riz Ahmed from Sound of Metal. He was in Rogue One. He was in the HBO special, The Night of It Happened One Night or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. It was very good. Riz Ahmed's great. I know you're looking confused, Steve, so you just look him up. Fantastic actor. But what this means is that there will not be a tie. There's no way we can tie, which means someone is going home a winner and someone is going home a not winner. We'll find out right after this. Hey, we need people. We need subscribers. We're 29 people away. Yes, that's right. We're the same number we were 2 weeks ago. We are 29 people away from 100, which will allow us to get that magical custom URL that will let us be able to say, go to youtube.com/matinee heroes. Wouldn't that be nice? Right now, you do that, you're going to get lost. You're just going to come up with a 404. So please head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff. Follow the YouTube link. Head in and subscribe. Subscribe until we tell you not to. And then even if you don't like the show, just subscribe. And then once we get our URL, unsubscribe.
Yeah,
also,
make some new profiles. Tell all your friends.
yes, fake it
Trick
till you
your
make
family.
it. Trick your family. So now we're
Borrow
starting
some phones.
We're starting to learn Steve's master marketing skills. Also, Just because it tickles me to no end. This week is FanX, and I still want to remind everybody I am the only moderator at FanX. I'm not the only one moderating, but for some reason, I'm the only one in the moderators page, which, believe me, if they ask me to do them all, even at the last second, I will do them. So, Blake, if you're listening, I'm ready. I'm ready for FanX. I've been ready for FanX for a year and a half, 2 years. It's crazy. Steve, are you ready for FanX?
Yeah.
Yeah. Austin doesn't live in Utah and is not going, but I know he's ready. I will be ready because here's my schedule. And the most important thing on that schedule, besides at 7 p.m. Saturday, September 18th, where we're doing a live Matinee Heroes Presents Cast Off, where we recast Doctor Who, and Glengarry Glen Ross with Muppets. That's right. We have to use Muppets to recast Glengarry Glen Ross. The most important thing on that is Christopher Eccleston. I will be talking to him on Friday, which I know is the day that Steve is coming.
Yeah, I'm going to see Destro live and in person.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that. So we've got Christopher Eccleston at noon on Friday, the 17th. But more importantly, I wanted to make sure that everybody saw that I have bought brand new Converse, British Converse, to make sure that Mr. Eccleston knows that we love and appreciate him even in the States. I'm sure he's going to go, why are you desecrating my flag with your feet? But that's right, Christopher Eccleston. Also, from what I hear, I might be doing another person as well, but it's too late to put in the show. So let's get back to the tension. I can feel it. Because let's talk about this. Alan Rickman, the world, literally every single person, even his enemies love Alan Rickman. Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa is an amazing, intimidating guy that would fit this role to a T, and I think all the world knows that.
I'd watch either movie.
Exactly. And so this was a very tough call. So do we have Steve, what's your record, 1-5?
1-5 or 6 or something.
Oh,
yeah.
1-5. And Austin, who, this is your second show, you're undefeated.
I'm undefeated, yeah.
Yeah, as you like to say. Well, the judges talked about it. We hashed it back and forth. We yelled at each other. We argued. And there's 3 of us. So we automatically, someone's going to win because it's just the other 2 yelling at somebody. And Austin remains undefeated. It's hard to vote against Alan Rickman, but we did only because you found someone who is exactly perfect. So, Austin... You have
good picks.
Yes, they're very good picks. Austin, you have today's final thought. Let me see. There we go. Here we go. The glitch is happening near the end. So go ahead. Tell us, what's your final thought?
Well, I'm glad to watch this movie again. I know it's one that most people are pretty familiar with, but this was actually only the second time for me. So thank you for putting it back on my radar and making me experience it again, because it's a great film. If everyone could head to synapse.co, that would be great. Check out our writing. We have a lot of terrific writers. We also have me, but we have a lot of good writers. And epse.c.
Well, that's Synapse.
Our own writing there.
Yeah.
Thank you both for joining me today and having a great time.
Well, and I will repeat that because you started to go out there. It's synapse.co, C-O, synapse. C-I-N-E, apps, A-P-S-E.co. Sorry, you're getting a little jumbled there during the recording, but that's okay. It's near the end, so if you fade out, we'll just go on without you. It's not that important. You've already won. You've done the most important thing. Well, next week, we are going back in time. That's right. We're not just going to Comic Palooza in July, but we're going back to a prequel story as we have Erica Corbett going up against Mark Nizer as we do a prequel story about the Death Star in Rogue One. So we were in Houston for Cast Off in July. You'll hear that, the second episode that we did. The first one was actually fairly well received, despite the fact it was a simulation. It was not live. There's no actual video. I make it out of the PowerPoints. But want to be on the show? It can happen. Just head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff/application. Fill it out, and you too, if you're not some weirdo, can be on the show. which is probably not true because Steve is on the show, and
That's right.
but you didn't fill out an application. You were grandfathered in. You were a grandfathered weirdo. You can email mhcastoff@gmail.com. Of course, if you email me about getting on the show, I'll just send you the link to the application. Join us on Twitter on the Castoff Show. Join us in the Facebook group. Of course, matineeheroes.com/castoff will send you to the video links, such as twitch.tv/matineeheroes. And we want to thank our judges, and we're going to have to make sure that this does not happen again, because you may actually want to protest this one. Blake Castleman from FanX, what a great guy. But Brendan Agnew is a writer for Synapse, I found out. And that, I don't know if it doesn't disqualify you, because he didn't know you were part of this. But that's sketchy AF right now. So we'll make sure that Brendan is not involved in the judging next time. But please, the important part is to join us September 18th at 7 p.m. in room 251, 251A, I think. It's we're going to do Doctor Who and The Muppets in Glengarry Glen Ross. Who do you have for Blake? Who do you have for Shelley the Machine Levine? We'll find out live, and you can vote. I will not have it. There will be no judges. You will be the judge, and you'll do it live. So please join us at FanX. And on behalf of Steve Kondrick and today's winner, Austin Vashaw, I am Craig Price. You have been watching The Castoff.